Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first start by sending my warm regards and salutation to all of those who have taken the time out to show their presence tonight, including staff, honored guests, youth, foster care alumni, and of course, other representatives in line with our mission and our vision. My twin sister, Melanie Ann Centeno, received the Youth of the Year Award in 2007. So many of you may recall my face sitting on stage with her as Father Harris handed me a bouquet of flowers. Thanks, Father.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, what you are looking at is where your investment went over a decade ago. I would not be standing here tonight if it wasn't for you. And for the new faces, where your investment, the return on your investment will go a decade from now. So give yourselves a round of applause. Very briefly, I would like to paint the reality of our story that made us so grateful that HSVS St. Vincent Services found us. The truth of the matter is, foster care is real. Children living in conditions that may be traumatic for years to come is real. And we, as foster children, may not have the same exact storyline, but we all share abandonment, trust, and rejection issues that can affect our lives if not addressed through love, opportunity, and hope. Did you guys look at the mission of HSVS Junior Services? Hope. I was 3 years old when the burden of my life hit me very hard. As horrible as my memory is to date, I will never forget seeing the passing of my very own father as he laid in bed and my mother yelled his name over and over and over again. He was gone. They had met years earlier in a psych ward. She was there for challenges of bipolar manic depression, and he was admitted due to a drug overdose that led him to hallucinations. He was picked up by authorities for disorderly conduct. His secret drug habit would have him disappear for weeks at a time, as he was often found in abandoned buildings with my Uncle Cisco. Their lack of resources during the big 80s drug boom led them to getting HIV through the use of sharing the needles. Back then, the last few weeks of your life, you were usually sent home to die. My poor mother lost the love of her life, was left with several children, and now a tasteless disease that robbed our family in the middle of the night. Back then, we used to call it the monster. From there, I was in and out of the foster care system. Home for 1 year, back into the foster care system. As my siblings and I went from home to home, I would lose another sibling as there was just too many of us to realistically stay in one home united. First, Omar and Camille, and then Julio, and then Raphael, and then Nancy, and then Cassandra. By God's grace, my twin sister and I were never removed from our other siblings. The worst of my experience probably had to be a residential treatment center, which others may look at as a boarding school. The anger had me running around the campus rampant, destroying anything in front of me to show how I was feeling internally. I remember the director pulling me into the office and asking me, why are you carrying on so? And I sat in silence for a while as I was numb and emotionless. And all of a sudden I just bursted into tears, yelling very loudly, why would Daddy do this to us? As dysfunctional as my family was, I still wanted to see my mom. They took us away, and they left her away from the only thing that she had left, us. But St. Vincent Services knew better when I couldn't see the bigger picture. Every time I wanted to give up, a Hardship St. Vincent service representative stepped up. And when I said, but I'm tired of visiting my mom in a psych ward year after year. And when I said, I'm tired of thinking about my father being a master criminal, and I'm tired of knowing that my mom can die at any second, and she now currently is full AIDS blown. And they would stand there and say, keep moving, keep running, keep going. You'll be the master of this. We're not letting you go. We're not giving up. Keep going. I had several Dr. Floyds and Father Harrises and Chris Joneses step in and say, keep going. I had several Dawns and Laurens and Brooks and Jermaines that stepped in and said, keep going. And so that is what I did. It is easy to think it'll never be what it used to be. But eventually, I had to say to myself, Melanie, use your will to make it better than what it used to be. I had to learn how to take my losses and sow it as a seed called better. I could have sat there and continued to make excuses on how it was to feel anger and keep that, to allow it to be stagnant and make excuses not to move forward. But I said, you know what? Growth is better. And the reality is that growth is a mystery. And perhaps the glimpse of hope that I was looking for was within that mystery. Through time, I learned that life was not a mystery to actually be solved. It was a mystery to be lived. And if you really lived, you would solve the mystery in the process. Now looking back at it, having personal experience, now mixed with professional practice, without a shadow of a doubt, I knew that the foster care sector is where I belonged. The American Dream Program sponsored my college career at Adelphi School of Social Work. I have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and I am a New York State licensed. Keep going, I'm right here. That's all I kept hearing in my ear. Aside from that, my current career lies in me being an applied behavioral analysis in the early intervention sector. And as you know, I have the company Foster Care Unplugged. And the mission of Foster Care Unplugged is to identify foster care youth and develop their emotional social skills on their journey to resiliency and success within the educational and success and social environment on their way to adulthood. Since launching, as the lovely Sean and everyone else mentioned, we have raised over 800 pair of name brand sneakers for our foster care youth, 5,000 book bags fully loaded. We have created a panel discussion with successful foster care alumni and other professionals who actually had one-on-one sessions with foster care youth so that they can mirror what their future can look like. We have also had a celebrity basketball game in which we raised funds. And on my downtime, yes, I am also an aspiring actress, Sean. More recently, I was a lead in a play called Wannabe. It was a play that we had 2 years ago, and we put the play back together just last month, and all the proceeds went to Foster Care Unplugged to continue to develop our youth.
Right.
The first time the casting director actually stopped me and said, I can't believe what you're doing. Oh my gosh, can we give you all the proceeds of the play? I said, absolutely, they need it. More recently, we linked our young men of Hardship St. Vincent Services with our partners over at the Bearded Dapper Gents, a group of distinguished men who helped develop a mentorship program through the use of fashion. Youth are driven by image nowadays, so you gotta penetrate somehow, right? And this mentorship program resulted in providing the youth with custom-made suits through the Drew Beckenberg Suit Company. Thank you, George. Thank you, Drew. Will the youth of the Bearded Dapper Gents Project please rise?
No. Yeah!
You know, amazing that you look first time we've ever experienced really are.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, while I am humbled and thankful to receive this award, I just can't fully accept it without incorporating my promise for foster care children all over New York City. And that is that every accomplishment I make will be in honor of every foster care youth in New York City, 10,295 youth. And although I wish that every foster care youth was present and could grace the stage with me, instead, I would like the youth of the Beta Dapper Jets to come forward and accept this award on behalf of all the foster care children in New York City. Please stand. Come on up. This is not about me. This is about you. And if you know this melody, you know that every moment becomes a teachable moment. Come on up, Raphael. Whitney. Come on up. Erica. Come on up. I need you to come up here. I need you more than ever. I need you to represent every foster child in New York City right now. I need you to come on up. As I started this speech, you are looking at a decade in advance. You are looking at a decade in advance based on the investment that you made tonight. This work is so meaningful because now it puts me in a position to be who you are and who you were for me, for them. Thank you very much. And before I close, I have to ask, because we will all been giving the gift of free will. So I gotta ask, will you guys accept this award on behalf of all the foster care children in New York City?
Yes, of course.
I can officially accept this award. Thank you very much. I love you all. Sean, where's the award?
Congratulations.